Subphylum Mandibulata. This includes Daphnia, crabs, prawns, centipede, millipede as well as barnacles. So, Subphylum Mandibulata. Subphylum Mandibulata, these include marine freshwater as well as terrestrial arthropods. Body is divisible into head, thorax as well as abdomen. And the head appendages are one or two pairs of antennae, one pair of jaws or mandibles, and one or two pairs of maxillae. Compound eyes are common feature, and if it is a terrestrial form, trachea is the respiratory organ, whereas for aquatic ones, gills are the respiratory organ. Malpighian tubules are the excretory organ. Sexes are separate. Development includes larval stages. Subphylum Mandibulata, it consists of 6 classes. Class Crustacea. Class Crustacea, the salient features of class Crustacea are bodies generally divided into cephalothorax and abdomen, and this cephalothorax that is covered by a chitinous shield, and this chitinous shield is called carapace body. The body is divided into cephalothorax, where you have the cephalic region and the thoracic region fused together to form the cephalothorax, and then you have the abdomen. Body is covered by means of exoskeleton. The exoskeleton that covers the cephalic region is known as carapace. They have a very thick chitinous exoskeleton, and when the organism grows, they perform the shedding of exoskeleton, and the shedding of exoskeleton is known as molting. Appendages are typically biramous. There is a pair of appendage in each segment. And body cavity is an expanded circulatory system through which blood is pumped. Alimentary canal, it consists of a straight tube that often has a gizzard like gastric mill for grinding food. And excretory structures are located near the antennae. Although a few are hermaphrodites, sexes are separate. They are distinguished by appendages on the abdomen called swimmerets or pleopods. And the first pair of pleopods are specialized in the male for sperm transfer. Crustaceans are identical in having the larval form, which is known as nucleus. So nucleus is the larval form. This is the picture of a Daphnia. Daphnia is the example for crustacea. Within crustacea comes crabs, prawns and all, and we'll be learning about Daphnia. Daphnia, they are small planktonic crustaceans. They are minute crustaceans. They are 0.2 to 5 millimeters in length and usually microscopic. This is the picture of a Daphnia. Small aquatic crustaceans, commonly called water fleas, because their saltatory swimming style resembles the movement of fleas. They have a flattened leaf-like leg. If you see the leg, it is flattened leaf-like legs. Body is covered by means of bivalve shell, and this bivalve shell is called carapace. I told you the cephalothoracic region is covered by, or the body is covered in the case of Daphnia, by an exoskeleton, and this exoskeleton, it is bivalved one, and this exoskeleton is known as carapace. They possess bifurcated antennae. Antennae is the head appendage, and Daphnia possess pair of large bifurcated antennae which helps in swimming. And brood pouch is present. This is brood pouch, where you have the eggs. Brood pouch is present in females. below this carapace on the dorsal side. Single large compound eyes is the characteristic feature of Daphnia. It has a caudal spine body. Body terminates in a caudal spine. So that's a characteristic feature of Daphnia. We move on to the next class, class Chilopoda. And this Chilopoda, this includes elongated metameric animals with one pair of legs per each body segment, and a pair of venom claws or forcipules, which is the modified first appendage that is present. They are predatory taxon. They are predatory taxon, and the example centipede, dorsoventrally centipede. You know, this is centipede. It is dorsoventrally. It has a dorsoventrally flattened body. Centipede, which you call in Malayalam as Paldara, and this, it has a dorsoventrally flattened body, and this dorsal ventrally flattened body has 15 to 100 segments. 15 to 100 segments, and each segment bears a pair of appendages. Each segment bears a pair of appendages. Head possesses a pair of many segmented antennae. Many segmented antennae are present as head appendages. And trignathic mouthparts are trignathic, 3 jaws, mandibles, first maxillae and second maxillae. Mandible, first maxillae and second maxillae together form a trignathic mouth part. Lateral eye, clusters of loosely arranged ommatidia. Clusters of loosely arranged and they are blind. The poison claws or forcipules are the first modified pair of legs or maxillipeds of the centipedes. The poison claws act like strong jaws that can grasp prey, which is then killed by injecting venom and held until fully ingested. And body cavity, that is hemocoelic. Trachea is the respiratory organ, and obviously the poison claws, they help in capturing prey, and they are predaceous carnivorous. The next class Symphyla. Symphylans are also known as garden centipedes or glass house symphylans. They are soil dwelling arthropods. They resemble centipedes but are smaller and translucent. They can move rapidly to the pores between soil particles. They are seen within the soil and they rapidly move between the pores of soil particles. Typically found from the surface down to a depth of about 50 centimeters, living on consuming this decaying vegetation, and they harm agricultural setting by consuming seed roots and root hairs in cultivated soil. Body slender. Head bears a pair of antennae, a pair of mandibles and 2 pair of maxillae. Malpighian tubules are the excretory organs. Heart is a dorsal tube extending from 6 to 12 segments, but it has only 1 pair of ostia. 2 spiracles of trachea are on the sides of the head. They are gonochoric. Females are larger than male. Fertilization is external. Eggs laid in clusters and development is indirect. And coming to the example is Scutigerella. Scutigerella, the body is slender and made up of head as well as trunk, a pair of antennae, a pair of mandibles and 2 pairs of maxilla. Excretory organs are Malpighian tubules. Heart is dorsal tube extending from 6 to 12 segments with 1 pair of ostia. 2 spiracles of trachea on the sides of the head. Gonochoric, fertilization external, eggs are laid in clusters, development is indirect. This looks more or less like a centipede, but it is smaller in size. And it is more brittle. Class 4 Diplopoda. Diplopoda, the salient features are these arthropods have two pairs of legs per segment, except for the first segment behind the head, which does not have any appendages at all, and the next, which have only one pair of legs. The rest, all the segment bears two pairs of legs. If you have seen millipedes, they have numerous legs. It is because each segment contains more than one pair of legs. Millipedes have elongated cylindrical bodies and some are flattened dorsi-ventrally. Millipede, see, if you observe the legs, they are two pairs, and from each segment two arises. So these are annuals. So this is one segment, and from one segment you can see two appendages arising. Length 2 millimeter to 30 centimeter. Body long, cylindrical and divisible into head and trunk. Exoskeleton is heavily calcified. And antennae, mandibles and maxillae are the head appendages that are present, and maxillae are fused to form gnathochilarium. Gnathochilarium is a structure that is found within millipede, which is actually fused maxillae. It usually comes for exams and all. Gnathochilarium, maxillae are fused to form gnathochilarium, and each segment bears two pairs of appendages. Reproductive opening or gonopo, they are located at the anterior end of the trunk. They are gonochoric. Females are larger than males. Copulatory organ are gonopods. Development is direct, where you don't have a larval stage. They are sluggish. Movement is slow, though they have two pairs of appendages per segment. The movement is sluggish, and they usually feed on soil or mud. Hence they are known as detritivorous, usually waste. Next class, class 4 Pauropoda, small pale centipedes like arthropods. There are 500 species in 4 families are found worldwide, living soil and leaf mold. They look like centipede, but probably the sister group to millipede. Pauropus body consists of two regions, head and trunk. Head bears a pair of antennae, two pairs of mouth parts, dignathic a pair of mandible and two pair of maxilla. And eyes are absent. Mandibles are modified for piercing and for grinding. First pair of maxilla is fused to form the lower lip. First pair of maxilla is fused with the to form the lower lip. Foregut is equipped with pumping muscle, absence of heart as well as the respiratory organ, trachea. Pair of Malpighian tubules are present, which acts as excretory organs. Brain lies in the head and first trunk segment. They are also gonochoric. The trunk segment, the genital segment, bears gonopo, and in males the penis. Development is direct. There is no larval stage. Class 6 Insecta. This is the most diverse group of animals on the planet, which includes beetle, wasp, bees, butterflies, mosquitoes, dragonflies. Body divided into head, thorax and abdomen. It has a heart, exoskeleton, and the peculiarity of Insecta is that it possesses insects possess 3 pairs of jointed legs in the thoracic region. They have 3 segments, and each segment of the thoracic region possesses a pair of jointed legs. Compound eyes, two antennae are present and most diverse group of animals. Mostly terrestrial and aerial and rarely aquatic. Body is divided into three distinct regions: the head, thorax and abdomen. Head bears a pair of compound eyes and sometimes simple eye. Mouthparts are adapted for chewing, biting, piercing, siphoning. It depends on the mode of feeding of the organism or insects. Thorax with three segments and bears three pairs of jointed legs. Abdomen is devoid of appendages. Vascular system poorly developed. Excretory organs are malpighian tubules. Respiration by air tubes or tracheae. And nerve system consists of nerve ring and the ventral ganglionated nerve cord is present. Sexes, they are separate. Fertilization is usually internal. Development includes metamorphosis, and few forms of class insecta, they undergo parthenogenesis. That's a peculiar feature of class insecta where the egg develops into an embryo or larval form without undergoing the process of fusion with a sperm. So when the development takes place without the fusion of egg and sperm, the egg directly grows or develops into a larval form, then that is known as parthenogenesis. And one of the peculiar features development includes metamorphosis. It has the development has a life cycle where you have an egg, a larval stage, and the larva pupates into a completely different adult. Example is butterfly. It comes under order Lepidoptera. Life cycle includes larval caterpillar, which is a voracious feeder, and this harms the crops. Most of the caterpillars, they are some way or other they are harming to harmful to mankind. Inactive pupal stage, where the larva pupates and the spectacular metamorphosis takes place, whereby a colorful winged adult which is economically important, which helps in pollination, an adult comes out. So caterpillar is a harmful one that voraciously feeds on crops, plantations and all, that pupates into an adult which is of economic importance because this brings about pollination. The diverse patterns formed by the brightly colored wings and erratic yet graceful flight have made butterfly watching a hobby. The body and wings are covered by flattened scales and the wings are membranous. There are two pairs of wings and these wings are covered by flattened scales. Mouth parts are of sucking type with the proboscis formed by maxillae. If you have observed, you can see it has a proboscis, and with the help of proboscis it sucks nectar from flowers. Antennae are club shaped antennae are present. Legs are weak and used only for resting. Butterflies exhibit polymorphism, mimicry and aposematism. They are different forms. Polymorphic forms, they show mimicry where they are able to imitate other forms, and aposematism, it's a warning coloration so that the predators avoid this butterfly. Some migrate over long distances. Some butterflies have evolved symbiotic and parasitic relationships with social insects such as ants. So they carry ants from one place to another, where ants might have come to feed on the nectar. So these ants are carried by butterflies to different places. Economically important as agent of pollination, whereas the larval stage that causes damage to